Hello, this is Sister Colton, and we have our second to last week, so we only have 2 more weeks left. This is our last regular week with all the regular assignments due, our last discussion board application activity, and you'll see that lesson 14 is the last and final week, and there are different assignments than what we usually have. So you have hung in there, and I'm grateful that you've lasted this long, and hopefully you've seen the growth that you've made. One thing I want to talk about is the application activity. This topic this week is on giving back. And part of that is ensuring that we don't have feelings of entitlement. And whether we may not think that we do, I think often we see ourselves as not feeling entitled, meaning we deserve something. But maybe we have some thoughts sometimes that could show we have entitlement, and as you go through this self-assessment by President Clark, you can identify if there is an area that you have a little bit of entitlement, such as, are you overly critical of others and look down on others? Is the word deserve used in your vocabulary? I deserve this, I've worked for this, so I deserve it. Do you care too much about status and rank? And I think sometimes you may not verbalize that you have those feelings, but I think it can be interesting to see maybe we've had those thoughts before. Or if you feel like things aren't fair or you need special treatment for one reason or another. So after you do that self-assessment, you need to identify one area, as it says here, based on your interests or needs after reviewing your self-assessment, read through the material below. So if I find that maybe number 3, I do care too much about status or rank, even if I didn't think I did. I maybe have thoughts of that. So that is question number 3. So maybe I want to explore the materials that help and address that area of entitlement. So I would read through that, and as you'll see up here, you just choose any 2 items to read through. So maybe I want to read through 2 of the question 3, or maybe I have 2 questions that maybe I fall into, so I'm going to find some material, one material on one of those questions and one on the other. So I'm just looking for 2 items to explore more. You'll take notes on what you learn when you read through that, and then you'll download your template and answer these questions based on what you learned on looking at 2 pieces of material. Then you'll upload that application activity. So that is the application activity this week. Make sure, sometimes enduring to the end is tough, and seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. We can see that we're almost there and finish out strong. So I would encourage you to still have this be your last discussion board. Make sure you're participating and involved in entering your post into the discussion board and responding to peers. If you have any questions on any of the other assignments, let me know. Before I do our English tip, I want to show you, if you will notice, just go to assignments. When you come here, sorry, that's not what I wanted to show. This will help you see when assignments end, if that's something that you've been struggling with, is knowing when things are due, and when they're open. So if you'll see down here, lesson 14, look, that's the final week. If you want to start planning ahead, maybe this week you finish your lesson 13 assignments early. Maybe you have everything done by Thursday night or Friday night, and you have Saturday to start preparing for lesson 14 assignments. You'll see that the final exam practice test I talk about in my note this week, it opens up March 30th at 12 a.m. So pretty much midnight of Wednesday, but March 30th is Thursday. So as soon as it turns to Thursday, that is available. And you can take that as many times as you would like in preparing for the final exam that opens up at night on April 2nd and is open until the 5th. The last thing I want to show you is that everything is due, almost everything besides your attendance report, April 5th. So making sure that you are planning ahead and able to have everything in. I will be sending out more information next week's note about the final due date and absolute deadline to get anything in. I have a set time I need to get grades in, and so I can't have assignments trickling in as I'm trying to wrap up my grades. So with that, I'm just going to do a quick English tip and take my screen off so we can see all this in focus. So one thing is with the difference between singular and plural. Singular means an individual, one thing, one person. Plural is more than one, and so depending if it's singular or plural will determine what verb we use. And so as you see, there's a difference. There's first person if you're talking about me or we, and I guess plural. If we're just focused on plural, any plural that's first person would be we, because that's more than one. So I wouldn't use me if it's something that's plural. I need a noun that is referring to more than one person, such as we, a group of us, or even just two of you. Me and my friend, we. And then if I am using that word, so if that's my noun, we, then depending on the tense, if we're talking about right now, I would use are. We are leaving right now to the store. So that's the verb I would use. If I'm talking about something that happened yesterday, I would say, yesterday we were at the store and we found a treat. Whatever your sentence is, if it's talking about something in the past, even if it was earlier that day, this morning we were walking to school when we found some money. So whatever your tense is determines which of these verbs you're going to use. But you'll see, even if it's just we or second person you, talking about someone else, you're going to have the same verbs if they fall in the same tense, so that these don't change. If it's present for we or you, we're always going to use are. Like you are going to come over here right now. You were gone last Sunday. We missed you. That was the past, last Sunday. The future, I haven't talked about yet. If that's what's going to happen, like maybe in the summer, we will be going camping. Or next year, you will be in a different job. So you're, like I said, if it's first or second, doesn't matter, you're going to have the same verb that's within the same tense. But making sure that depending if I'm talking about right now, yesterday, or in the past, or in the future, is when the verb will change. So if you want to screenshot that chart, if you want me to send you that, let me know and I can send that out to you. Hopefully that's helpful. I know it can be tricky in trying to keep track of first or second person and tenses, but luckily with this one you'll see first and second person doesn't change. What matters is the verb changes when you change tenses. So make sure when you're writing, and lots of my feedback refers to that. Remember, you're in past tense, so you make sure your verb matches the past tense. Tenses are a hard one to get used to. Hopefully, if you have any other questions, you let me know as we are wrapping up this semester and finishing. Check your grades and give me any emails with questions referring to grades or assignments that you didn't get turned in or that you are missing. So, have a great week, and we will talk to you next week.